Welcome everyone to NR Truck Night in America, live here from Dover International Speedway for race 22 out of 28 on the season and the fourth race of the Gainbridg Truck Series chase. We're here at Dover for the Delaware Life 200, and folks, after three races so far in the chase, in the season number two chase, we have seen three separate winners, two non-racing motorsports and Red Bull Fallout winners that have kind of been under the same teams that we saw in the regular season with Matthew Hubert and Joseph Wood winning last week at Portland International Raceway, but now we come back to another short track. We've kind of been taking a break off of the speedways. We've gone short track, road course, and we're back to another short track here at Dover International Speedway here tonight. Folks, it's of course Charlie Davenport here in the booth. Now, this week I'm alongside NS Racing owner Nathan Stapleton and former driver. He was in the chase last season. This was not on the schedule for the chase last season though, so doesn't quite have experience here. But Nathan, welcome to the booth. And so far, how have you viewed this chase as an owner and as a former driver?
Well, this has definitely been a very interesting chase so far. It's been all over the place. As you said, there's been a couple of non-dominant teams that have won so far in the chase. And this is a very unique racetrack. It is a short track, technically, but it's a high-speed short track. Gotta have a good car, good engine, and you really gotta make sure you hit the marks here and keep up with the momentum. It is a short track, but it is a high speed short track, so it's gonna be very interesting of what these drivers do here at Dover. I love Dover, one of my favorite tracks on and on, and I'm looking forward to what these truckers can do here in 120 laps here tonight.
Yeah, like you said, a high-speed short track, and this one is another kind of bender for some of the teams because we saw last week at Portland. Portland was a very interesting road course where it was a lot of straightforward racing. Like there was a lot of stretches. You kind of look like the Monza of the United States, where there was some turns, but it was mostly straightforward. So it was kind of a race where you can have a really good chassis and get through the corners quickly, but you can have a very bad engine and really get taken over on the straightaways, or vice versa. Now coming to a track like Dover, it's gonna be interesting to see how the teams attack it this week. So it's been two back-to-back weeks now where teams are gonna really have to work with what they have and try to make the most out of it, especially at a track here like Dover. But when we get into your track overview here for tonight's race, like we said, a very fast short track, exactly a mile here at Dover. And of course, this is the first time running it, so we don't have any previous race winners from this race last season because we didn't run it. But when we look at the fuel window coming into tonight, it's a kind of unpredictable. We're expecting around lap 40, but we could see it around as early as lap 25 or 30. And it honestly kind of just depends on how the trucks do when it comes to the lap traffic and whatnot here tonight, Nathan, because we've seen lap traffic be kind of an issue for some guys during some races this season. When you come to a track like this, which we're running the short track package here tonight, it might be a little bit more difficult to pass the lap traffic who's all going to be bundled together. So when you look at the fuel window tonight, the pit window tonight and the fuel window tonight, what are you thinking, I guess, from an owner standpoint when it comes to your trucks? Do you want to get down right when you enter that lap traffic, or do you want to give it some time?
Well, I think you definitely want to try and stretch out as long as possible because what we assume is that it probably will be around 40 laps or so. So at that point, you could maybe switch on a two stop lap 40 ish, lap 80 ish, and then stretch it. But I think lap 12 is going to be a factor. If this place stays going all the way, it could, but also could not. Depends on how hungry Miles Monster is, of course. But lap 12 is going to be very pivotal here. You got to get through it as fast as possible so the trucks behind you can't catch up to you. So it's definitely been very interesting. Lap 12 is going to be a major role in solo pit stops here at one of the harder pit roads to get onto.
Yeah, definitely. So, with no further ado, folks, let's head down trackside here at Dover International Speedway and let's go over the chase standings and all the info you need to know heading into tonight's race. So, folks, as we are trackside here at Dover International Speedway, as we're about to get into chase standings, one thing to note that Nathan was talking about when it came to the fuel window is stretching it as long as possible. One thing I wanted to note from what we saw at Richmond, which was the first short track of this chase. We saw in the practice runs that in the practice session that lots of teams were testing how long they could run tires for, and they were able to run tires pretty long. They weren't running super fast, but they were able to make the tires last quite a bit. So that's something else we can look at here tonight at Dover to see how long these teams can make these tires last. To accommodate the fuel window. But as we get to your chase standings here tonight, folks, you can see Ricky Lafleur still maintains a very good lead over the rest of the chase field. Everybody who was contending with him had issues last week at Portland. We saw Ronnie Hauger, Matthew Hubert, Avery Alford all have issues, and those are the guys who are all following behind this number 82 truck who's starting fourth here tonight, and they're going to be in a little bit of a predicament. Hubert's now 61 points behind him, and that's a little bit tricky. He's about a race and a half out from this points lead, so he's going to need something to go wrong for this chase lead. So he's going to need something to go wrong to this 82 tonight. But meanwhile, Aaron Abel finished right behind this 82 truck, so he's only 40 points behind. But Ricky Lafleur, when it comes to most of the field, he has quite the advantage over everybody. About a race advantage. When you come to Caleb Rose and Ronnie Hauger, they are just a race behind. If the maximum amount of points you can get in a race is 48, they are 47 points behind. So it's been quite the chase start so far. We've seen lots of chaos, and that kind of dates back to what you were saying, Nathan, with who knows how many wrecks there will be tonight. But we've seen that some races can be either very mellow and not a lot of crashes, or there can be a race where there's a lot of crashes. So as you look at this chase standings coming tonight, Nathan, what stands out to you?
Well, what stands out to me is how dominant Ricky LaFleur has been so far. 4 wins on the season, and no one's been able to touch him yet. But I am gonna say, bias aside, Caleb Bowles has been very solid in this chase. Doesn't have a win yet this season, but he has been very quiet, very consistent up to third, while others have had issues like Avery Alford and others, Hubert, etc. Rose has been keeping it clean. Third in
Indeed.
points, tied for third. So I'll see if, maybe Caleb Rose can do a Matt Kenseth that one year, way back in the day in the 2000s, and steal this championship with consistency. But that's going to be a tall task because Ricky LaFleur has been so dominant. But unable, Caleb Rose, Hauger, they're all good. This is a good chase. So just got to see how Dover works out. And like I said at the top, we just got to see of how hungry Monster is here today.
Yeah, and when you talk about Caleb Reyes, he has had quite the chase run up to this point, and like you said, he's been one of the best drivers in this chase so far. Folks, don't let that 13 place finish at Darlington fool you. We all know the drama that happened at Darlington where Ricky Lafleur made the really bold three-wide move underneath Carl Young in that 98 of Caleb Rose coming out of a caution restart where Rose was looking very fast. Looked like I think he had the best truck outside of Matthew Hubert that night. But Ricky Lafleur comes up into the 33, wrecks the 33 and the 98. Lots of drama happened after that race. Rose wasn't happy with Lafleur, says a chase driver should know better than that. Let's just say the garage was on fire after that race. But when we look at the results so far in this chase, Caleb Rose could easily have a second place finish at Darlington. I think Matthew Hubert still had the fastest truck that night, but when we came to that race, Rose looked super, super fast, and and like you said, he's been so consistent. I mean, he finished third at Portland. He is not the biggest road course guy, but he finished really well. And I think him and Aaron Abel are really going to give Ricky Lafleur quite the fit here tonight, especially with Lafleur starting. I mean, with Lafleur, with Aaron Abel starting on the front row, which we've seen him do all season. He has the most poles so far in our Truck 9 America history as a rookie. Um, and it's going to be interesting for sure. I mean, but I think the bigger thing to note is although we have Ricky Lafleur dominating, that was his first non-top five finish in weeks. Last week at Portland, Ronnie Hauger I think has won. I think all but one or two short track races we've had so far this season. So with him starting on pole here tonight, Nathan, do you think that spells some trouble for the rest of the field? Because we've seen this 83, no matter where he starts at these short tracks, somehow end up up front.
I gotta agree, Wanyao has been really good at the short tracks, and we gotta see how he can do, enable along the front row. That's gonna be a good challenge for him, I think, at the start. But at the end of the day, these Red Bull Fallout cars have been almost unstoppable. So, obviously, we know of how dominant that 82 has been, but the 83 of Ronnie Hauger, like you said, has been good at the short tracks. So I think if Hauger can stay up front early on, he could be a strong contender here to win here tonight.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And I think that's pretty much it for your chase standings here tonight, folks. Of course, we have guys like Carson Miller, who we already briefly mentioned earlier, where he just needs, if he can do it, he needs to win tonight, or I think his chase hopes are kind of through the roof. Kyler Sustry as well. Sustry, he he said in his pre-chase interviews that he wanted to just finish 10th in the standings. He didn't want to do anything bold, and that's kind of been the effort by that 17 team. They have not had the start to the chase they've wanted at all. And then you have different situations with guys like Rowe, and Nolan and Wood, who all had just brutal DNFs. Rowe has not finished a race so far to start off this chase. So, well, besides Portland, so he's gonna need something to go good here tonight. But that is your chase standings coming into tonight's race here, folks. I think with no further ado, Nathan, let's get these trucks ready and rolling as we've gone over everything I think we need to know heading into this race here at Dover.
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome Mike Cote, Bar Harbor Foods President, Chief Executive Officer.
Drivers, start your engines!
The trucks are ready to roll off here at Dover International Speedway here, folks, for 120 laps here tonight. Row number 1 is going to be that 83 of Ronnie Hauger and the 41 of Aaron Abel. Row 2 is going to be the 27 of Matthew Hubert and the 82 of Ricky Lafluer. Row 3 will be the 43 of Angel Gutierrez and that 33 of Carl Young. And row 4 will be the 42 of Avery Alfred and the 98 of Caleb Rose. In row 5, running for top 10s, Alexander Rowe and last week's winner, Joseph Wood. Nathan, when it comes to tonight's race, who's your pick to win here at Dover?
Well, my pick here tonight is going to be a non-chase driver, and it's going to be a driver that's been really good at short tracks this year. Give me the number 99 of Local Dawn to get win number 2 as a non-chase driver.
Raul Dorn is Nathan's pick. Raul Dorn has been very solid at short tracks this season. Hasn't had quite the results, but has ran well. But as we make our way through here in front of this grandstands, it's going to be Ronnie Hauger leading us to green here in his home race here at Dover. But as he makes his way through here, we are green flag racing here for race number 4 of the Gainbridg Truck Series chase here at Dover for the Delaware Life 200. As they make their way through lap number 1 here, Nathan, quite even behind by everybody here. That number 27 on the inside of this 41 of Aaron Abel, trying to get that pass off for second as Gutierrez moves into fourth.
A great jump from Ronnie Hauger, and this probably we'll see it all day. This is a very multi-group Dover International Speedway here today. Turn 1 and 2 is more on the inside lane, but outside lane can challenge. And then 3 and 4 is kind of the opposite, where 1 and 2 is where you want to, or on the bottom is where you want to be in 3 and 4, but the outside lane can get a 1 off the turn 4. So it's a fairly 2-lane racetrack here at Dover in this version, and it always causes some great racing, especially in my series and some other series as well. And Ronnie Hauger loves the way he sees with that clean trap, but here comes Aaron Abel, making it
3
wide
wide.
for second.
Oh boy, Aaron Abel making the move on his teammate and that 27 of Hubert. But like you said, Ronnie Hauger likes what he sees here. As there goes Aaron Abel now battling for second. As these guys are zooming their way through here. And now trying to get into second. I think he's going to clear him here, but here comes Avery Alfred as well. And now all 3 Racing Motorsport trucks are up here in this top 5. As here comes your driver, Caleb Rose, trying to get something off on Hubert, but Hubert's going to quickly clear him as these guys are just zooming around this track, trying to get all the moves they can off here early on in this race before we see the tire fall off.
Absolutely, you touched on the tire fall off. once these tires fall off, it will get harder to make passes. It won't be impossible, obviously, but with fresh tires, it is a lot easier to make moves on old tires. And speaking of making moves, we got one for third, and we got one maybe for the race league, and they put all over the back bumper of Ronnie Hauger. He's gonna try and go side by side in 3 and 4. He does side by side for the race league with Hauger and Abel. A great 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Wow.
And Abel will leave that lap, and he should be able to clear it in turn 1.
Wow, I mean, this 41 is zooming around here. That 83 of Ronnie Hauger gonna have that 43 Goodyear's right behind him as well, and now Hauger's stuck on that outside. Will he get a good run here? You might try to see him try to pack air off the side of the 43's door here, but it's not gonna work too well. It actually might get him a good run into turn 1. Yes, it will. Oh, still stuck on that outside. You see, we saw it there a second ago again. All that concrete on the outside, that this a little bit squirmy for some guys when they get stuck up there. Just very loose in some sections. But Hauger's kind of standing tall here. But look at Alexander Rowe. He started in what was 9th in this race. He's all the way up here in the top 5 already.
And you saw Hauger, he ran the outside to perfection in turn 3 and 4. He ran exactly dead in the groove, not in the less on the inside lane with the groove. He ran exactly in it on the high side and cleared both of those trucks that were on the inside lane. So the outside lane is possible in 3 and 4, as Caleb's going to get past Matthew Hubert there. But Gainbridg is not going to say die, but he's not going to be able to get a 1 there on the 83. Hauger looks strong.
It looks very strong, yeah.
And I can just tell by that one-time one in the outside lane, and now he's quickly closing back into Aaron Abel.
Yeah, Aaron Abel and Hauger. These two have been very good so far at the short tracks. We saw them finish, I think it was 1-2 at Richmond, which was the first short track of this chase. And now back again, these two are back close to each other. And it's pretty funny because these two have just been so close all chase long. And we've seen tempers slur on Twitter and whatnot between them. They don't like each other, to say the least. And now they're going to be running 1-2 once again. Aaron Abel, although after all the turmoil at Darlington, when he had a shot to give that 83 the bumper at Richmond, he decided not to. So we'll see how nice Hauger is with that 41 of Aaron Abel. But these two for sure have history.
Absolutely, and you gotta see if how they do for the rest of this one. We're fairly early on. Alexander Rowe, I almost picked Alexander Rowe. Was my second pick, I guess. Like, number 1 was Will Gouron because I want to see something spicy. But I do think, among all the chase riders here today, I think Alexander Rowe could steal it here. He's not had a good chase, 10th in the standings, but he's a really, really good rider on it. So I would not count Alexander Rowe as we get into the later stages here today.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you saw it there, but Gainbridg Goodyear's moved to the middle line there. Got a great run. If he starts doing that more, he's definitely going to start to be able to catch up to his top 2 here. But he made a little bit of an adjustment there. He's going to do it again, actually. And you see it right here once again. Run a little bit lower this time, but when he runs that middle line, he gets good runs off the corner. But Rowe's going to kind of match him there. But right now, this guy's a little bit backed up here. But we usually see that they close up a lot and then out of nowhere just spread out once again.
Unfortunately for Gainbridg Truck, I appreciate him trying different lines and speaking of different lines.
Oh, wow.
One from Alexander Rowe. And
oh, my gosh. No, nearly banging doors.
I do think that 43 is a little bit off the pace here. I don't think he has a short one, but I got a long one right now as well, almost 20
Yeah, I was going to say, he looked very off the pace. He had everybody bunched up here, and now look at them all move through to his inside.
Yeah, Gutierrez does not have a long one truck here tonight, unfortunately. Might need to make some adjustments when we get to that first pit stop. If Lafluer is teammate next to him. And we cannot mention the 83 without mentioning the 82 of Ricky Lafluer, the point leader by a large margin, up into the 3rd spot. And what a chase that has been for him so far. And we gotta see if he can maintain as almost contact between the 2 teammates of Alfred and Gutierrez back there. And Gutierrez just is whopping like a stone now, and I think that just shows of how bad of a long one truck that 43 ends up
Yeah.
having right now.
Him and Hubert had solid starts to the race, but they both kind of just settled down back at the back end of the top 10. Hubert trying to get something off. That 43, I think, was able to pack some air to the side, so.
How about Carson Miller back there? He started 21st here tonight, and he's had a lot of bad luck, but he is just outside of the top 10 and 12th already in only 22 laps.
Yeah, he's moving on quickly through this field. Meanwhile, Hubert's still working on that 43.
And this is the part of the one that, you know, these guys are dealing with tire fall down. It's going to be a little bit harder to make passes, and I think the outside lane, I think that's another thing where at this version of Dover, as the tires fall off the outside lane and turn 3 and 4, it starts to fall off as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That might be another thing that's hurting Andrew Gutierrez, because I don't think he has a long truck, and he's also trying the high side, and it's not really working out for him anymore.
Yeah. And they're starting to spread out just a little bit. David Dixon kind of in a no man's land, as well as the 36 of Haynes. While back here, all these guys are just in interesting spots. Patrick Nolan had a terrible qualifying for being a chase driver, as well as Kyler Sustry, who has his own teammate passing him right now. But Miller is one of the guys who have had a positive day so far, moving his way through. And right now, Aaron Abel's still leading, ticking off laps.
Aaron Abel doing exactly what he needs to do. Of course, the bad thing for him, though, you know, is that Ricky Lafluer, who's trying to chase, is only 2 spots behind him. So, you know, Aaron Abel's out front leading the most laps up to this point. It's not really going to help him a ton in this chase battle. But I'm impressed with Ronnie Hauger. You know, he's maintained his number 41. And these two are slowly pulling it away from throwing back. So, we gotta see how pit stops end up looking out here for the first time here around that 40, and that's the thing, like, I know it's 120 laps here tonight, but it's 22, 24 seconds per lap here. It goes by fast, and
very
this
fast.
Flying, and this early one, Charlie's all the way flying on by, and
Yeah.
all the way, almost to lap 30, and we are almost to the point where we gotta talk about pit stops here.
Yeah, they are flying by. You can see, I mean, with these camera angles, you'll see how fast they go by. But, I mean, when we talk about pit stops here, it's an interesting spot because, like I said, we saw at Richmond where teams during practice were seeing how long they can stretch the tires there. We know there's been a lot of tire failures in the past couple of weeks for a bunch of teams. So it's, do you want to test your tires and run it really long to make that fuel window, make that next fuel window more favorable, with it being 120 laps, which makes it at a little bit of an interesting spot when it comes to when these guys want to come in? Or do you want to stretch those tires, or do you want to come in early and not stretch your tires as much? So, I mean, it just depends on how comfortable the teams, I think, are, because if you're a team that's had a lot of tire failures, you maybe just want to play it safe.
Absolutely, and you know, you gotta figure out what is the best outcome. You know, if we're outside of the top 10, you might want to do the undercut to try and get inside the top 10 and get some spots gained. But if we're inside the top 10, you might want to just do the middle of the road, the common strategy where most of these drivers end up pitting. But you know, maybe someone might plot to do overcut and try and make some hay on the long one with special tires. But I think for everyone, they just want to get to that 40. Get to that 40, that 41, make sure that they can do a 2-stop here tonight at Dover.
Yeah, looks like Gutierrez, it looked like he figured something out for a second, but it looks like that truck is just, honestly, it just looks like it's plowing on the inside. And everywhere he goes, it just looks like he's having issues. And right now, Matthew Hubert as well, stuck behind that 42 of Avery Alford. Hubert, I thought would be a little bit better early on, but, well, actually, he's running pretty well, but, as I'm going the wrong direction, but he's running pretty well for his standards. But, I mean, 6 is not bad, but, you know, you expect a little bit better from Hubert. But right now, I mean, he's still trucking it along. I'm just kind of surprised the 82 or 7 haven't caught up closer to this 83 or 41, because they haven't battled too much there for third. But I mean, right now, Hauger loses a little bit of time to that 41 on Aaron Abel, so you might start wondering here, are we seeing that tire fall off kick in as we reach lap 35, as Derek goes Hubert now going around that 42 of Avery Alford.
I definitely think the tires fall off because look at how put out everyone is. It wasn't too long ago, maybe 10 laps ago, where these guys were all on each other. And, you know, I think Avery also just showed that that somebody still can work because he just whipped past Matthew Hubert there. So definitely gotta see if how that works out. But like I was saying, tires are definitely fading here and making it harder to make passes. You're all going to catch up to lap traffic of only one truck of Lexington and is separated from the rest of the lap down trucks that are on the tail end. So tough night so far for Lexington in that 0-1 machine.
Yeah, it's been a tough start all season so far for 1, but as we say, as we get close to this lap traffic, after Herman, it's going to take probably maybe a lap and a half, and they're going to reach a huge line of trucks right here. And that's when I would start to wonder, do you bring it down and avoid the lap traffic so you can have the best in-lap passable, or do you stretch it in that lap traffic and kind of risk losing time?
I would think these guys would be thinking, hey, let's just get past the 0-1, and then let's start thinking about pit stops, because we're all the way on lap 38, probably a handful of laps away, if that, from getting down to pit road. Then after pit stops, lap traffic will definitely be a factor for the rest of this race. So these guys gotta be prepared for that. But here we go, can catch up to the 0-1 here.
There we go.
And now Hauger's gonna close back in.
Yeah, Hauger gonna be right on the back, and I mean these guys are getting time on that 82 and 7, but it looks like they're gonna get just by this 0-1 just fine here of Herman. So we'll see how easy Herman makes it on everybody else, but I got a back here on the side of that 83. So Hauger gonna likely not be too happy, but he's probably gonna make a pass going into turns 3 and 4, but he cannot lose too much time here, but he quickly is gonna capitalize and get past this 0-1.
He'll be able to this time, and he will. But look at how much time Hauger lost
Yeah.
It was just over 0.2 of a second, and now this time by is all the way up to 0.7 almost. So he lost half a second because of the lap truck of Lexington.
And these guys are starting to spread out just a bit, so definitely the fall off is here, and we're probably a good amount of laps into the fall off, especially because these guys aren't able to make as much moves as we saw earlier on in this race. They're kind of just running close enough to each other, so I think everybody's kind of waiting and seeing how long this 41 of Aaron Abel will go. How long can he stretch it? Here is going to be what they're wondering, and we're going to see here as there goes Lafluer to the inside, but I think it's got to be here soon.
I'm a little bit surprised that he's not had anyone go down pit road yet. Maybe it's a little bit longer than what we initially expected, but they will probably have to pit before lap 60 if I had to imagine.
And it's one of the...
probably gonna be a 2-stop still, but we just gotta wait and see if who makes the first move.
Oh, there they go.
We have lap 43.
Oh, and Alfred gets Lafluer. Anybody gonna run it long? David Dixon. 97 to Burnett, 38 to Wood. Gutierrez, Rose gonna run it long. He's stuck behind this 0-1 of Herman though. So how long is he gonna go for this overcut here? Gonna bring it down this time. Yeah. Oh, Wood's gonna go for a huge overcut.
Huge overcut here, and this is gonna make things interesting. I just did the math. If these guys make it, and if these guys stretch it, they would have to pit around, let's say, 88 again, and then they will be good. So it will be a 2-stop here, and we gotta see of how pit stops look out for
this 38 might have gotten lucky there. He had a clear track. Him and this 03 had super clear tracks. That is like the perfect situation if you're going for an overcut, because my fear for guys going for the overcut is they're gonna run it to lap traffic and have issues. But here for this 81 here, we know McLaren has some of the they put together some of the fastest crews in the series. We're gonna see how it plays out here. I think after Aaron Abel comes around here this one time, We'll see how far behind Hauger is, but we'll see how they shuffle out. But depending on how fast the stop is here, this could be a favorable position for that 38.
Absolutely. We gotta see how this whole pit stop sequence ends up looking out. And Abel's gonna have a huge lead.
I think he will.
He is gonna have a huge lead over Ronnie Hauger. And he's gonna cycle out as the race leader. Next time by, he will be the race leader. The 38 is still technically the leader, but it's not cycled yet. And Abel, it looks like he's gonna have a 2-second lead over
Hauger's going pretty fast. Is he gonna push it?
Not quite.
It's gonna be Hauger.
Oh wow.
Wood?
Yeah, 4-second lead.
Yeah. Wood's gonna get sometimes gained here through that overcut. Not as much as he'd anticipate. He's not actually gonna stay in quite the same spot. David Dixon's gonna jump into this fight here. Brennan Haynes, meanwhile, on Jack, gonna lose a ton of time there. So this is gonna pull some guys in here, but they're gonna need we're gonna need that 41 to run into some lap traffic here and have some issues. But that's a lot of trucks in between this 41 and the 83.
Abel is checking out in that 41 machine. It's
fast.
A 5-second lead, and even with him going side by side with a lap truck there, Charlie, he still gained about 2 to 3 tenths. So Abel is lights out. He likes Dover today. He's got a fast truck, and he is on a cruise here in Dover, Delaware. And how many trucks do we have on the lead lap?
About
it can't be that many.
25. It's gonna
25.
So
already.
He's making his way through, but let's see how fast this 83. Oh, the 83 can get past by the 42 of Alfred. So they got to get past the 75 Benny Watson here, who's been giving Hauger issues ever since he got off of pit road. So Watson had a great debut, but ever since he got in that 75, has not had the run he's wanted. As Alfred gonna push the issue there. They know they need to catch up to that number 41. Miller's up here, but these guys are all gonna have to, I guess, work together, I guess you would say, which you don't usually say at a short track, and try to get through this lap traffic and catch up to Aaron Abel here. But I mean, they have a lot of trucks ahead that they got to get through.
I don't know if they even work together, if they will close on Aaron Abel. He is crazy fast. I think they made some more jumps on pit road. They saw that Ronnie Hauger was keeping up with him, and they didn't like that. And now he has a almost 6-second lead over the field.
This 84 of Nolan could give him issues here.
The fastest car on the racetrack, and it's not even close.
Oh wow, Vision Motorsports truck's actually the top 3 fastest laps somehow, but Aaron Abel is right behind them. But this 84 Nolan gonna probably give this 41 some issues here, because he's a chase driver, so he's not gonna let it be easy. So this is where it could get tricky here, but that's just a ton of trucks to overcome here. And I mean, yeah, if they're gonna be double file like this, it's not gonna be what you need. But Alfred and Hauger are gonna push that 96 of Gale through, but they need Gale to move out there. But I mean, lap traffic is just a thorn in the side of the guys always chasing the lead. There's never the leader himself.
Yeah, absolutely is. Exactly what we touched on before pit stops, Charlie. We knew that after pit stops, lap profit was going to be a huge factor in the rest of this race, and that has clearly been the case. Aaron Abel's been really fast, and he's done a great job, and the 96 is going to block a rocket there. These lap plots are not doing a good job for second on bat here, but
yeah, they're going to force the issue.
Hauger, he needs a good one. Avery Alfred needs a good one as well. And, if it wasn't for Aaron Abel having a 6-second lead, we would have a 5-car battle at least for the race lead. But
if there's one,
Aaron Abel's out here.
And if there's one guy that all these guys who are trying to chase down this 41 want to have leading the charge, it's the 32 of Avery Alfred. He's one of the most aggressive drivers in the field. So, in terms of Hauger, he might be a little bit scared to really make a huge move on the lap traffic. But when you got the 42 of Avery Alfred, he's going to make a way around that lap traffic. So, he's going to set up some opportunities here potentially, unless Hauger goes for the pass here. But I just don't think you want a battle here. And yeah, Alfred's going to have a good line. Kind of the corner's going to easily get a good run, especially coming off the corner. But they're going to have to get around this line of trucks. It's about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a lot of trucks in between.
Oh, yeah.
And another chase driver, the 17 Asustra here, which 84 and 17 have just been not too good to start off this run.
Yeah, not a good chase for those two drivers so far. For Nolan and Susfly. And it's unfortunate, you know, Susfly wanted to have a good one here in the chase, but it's not been the case so far for that Spears Raven Racing team. But anyways, I cannot get over of how fast this 41 is, but he just almost took out Chase driver Susfly there, and that's gonna lose him a couple of tenths there. But we gotta see about this strategy works out, as Abraham and Ronnie
they're moving
through some lap traffic, and they're gonna have a couple of laps of clean track.
Yeah.
As they got a little bit of separation between themselves and lap traffic, but they still lost time, so it doesn't really matter.
They were way closer than I thought, but it's gonna be tricky here for sure. They're likely gonna be hoping for a late race caution, which, if we've learned anything, we usually see these races start off green flag for a long time, and then out of nowhere, caution comes out and shakes everything up. So you're not getting comfortable here, which we clearly see. He's going after anybody he can because he does not want to have. He wants to have the least amount of trucks on the lead lap that he can if the caution does come out.
And he spoke into assistance.
Oh, the 75 of Benny Watson. Who else?
I think that's it.
I think he's had a little moment there. He should be fine. But,
well, there you go. You spoke into assistance there, Charlie.
Yeah. And, yeah, these guys are all going to make their way through. And we won't even get to look at it because they're all going to quickly come down pit road. But this is their... Oh, somebody got into the outside wall there, we see. There's just tire marks there on track, so I'm not sure if somebody ran into the outside wall, possibly. Likely could be the... Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Oh, Caleb Rose. Oh, was it Rose, potentially? We're going to see. I think it was your driver, Caleb Rose, unfortunately, who got involved in that. We'll see when we look at the replay, but does it make their way all on pit road? Yeah, I think Rose might have had a... he's going to get lucky here, but, I mean, Hauger just now getting on pit road. This would be a break for a bunch of those guys trying to catch up, but otherwise, it's going to be quite... Gutierrez.
That's off pit road.
Yeah, Gutierrez is going to be... Is Gutierrez on the lead lap here? I think he is. Yeah, I think he just jumped the 41 of Aaron Abel. So...
Lazy stop.
Yeah, so we're going to get this all figured out here. And then we'll get to the replay here, folks. So we'll be right back.
Oh boy, well, teammate on teammate violence. Sarah Taylor, the owner and teammate, just tons Benny Watson in turn 4, one of many hometown drivers, and that could have been huge, Charlie. That could have been way bigger than what it was. Luckily, it's just a one-truck incident.
Then we also saw there, under caution, your driver Caleb Rose here had a moment. You see, watch this, folks. You watch this 98 and 36. We don't quite need a slow-mo, that 45 and 75, but, I mean, is it here?
I don't know what they were trying to do.
I don't have a clue either, Nathan, and somehow they could repair the truck, but that's what brought out your caution. Teammate on teammate crime, and then the 36 and 98 just have quite the moment there. So not a good look for Sarah Taylor. And yeah, that's what brought out your caution here, folks. And that 45 Sarah Taylor just gets into her teammate, the number 75 of Benny Watson. And you just hate to see it there for Silly Thing Racing, who, I mean, Sarah Taylor had a great finish last week, but this week not going to be quite the finish that they wanted here. And it's just going to be a tough talk in the garage, I guess, Monday, or at the shop Monday for for 45 and 75. As I mean, that's just a dump and run there. So
Yeah, and so fortunate that everyone missed that
yeah,
75 because that could have been a 10-12 pileup.
yeah. All right, so we'll get back into your live action there, but wow, what a turn of events there here at Dover. All right, folks, we're back live here at Dover for your restart. It's going to be the 41 of Aaron Abel leading us back to green. That was actually 41 is, yeah, 41 of Aaron Abel leading us back to green. Where's the 43 Gutierrez at? Gutierrez nowhere to be found, but it's going to be 41 of Aaron Abel leading us back to green here. Oh, there's Gutierrez. You know, we do have issues with guys waving around here at Dover, but it's going to be Aaron Abel leading us back to green here as Brandon Haynes is around. Boy, oh boy, this just... Brandon Haynes gets turned around there. That's going to put us in a single file restart territory, but...
That might be for the best.
Yeah, because Brandon Haynes got turned around on that restart. I don't know how. These guys are just... What?
Oh, watch out.
Yeah. Don't know what they're doing. But
should be okay though.
Yeah, they should be all right.
Get this sorted out, but yeah, I think single file might be the way
Yeah.
to go here. And
luckily,
let's see how this all shakes out.
Luckily, the lap traffic's gonna be fine, but some guys are gonna bring it right back down. It looks like. As everybody actually, no, Wood's gonna stay out.
Is they unable the only one pitting?
Yeah, I think so. Alfred's gonna come down.
Truck of the day.
Which
was Waiting Motorsports doing?
Yeah. Which is not too surprising because they probably want to do alternative strategy of what everybody else was doing, but I mean everybody's trying to do an alternative of what the 41 was doing. But I guess Alfred's gonna follow down his teammate. But I mean lots of damage to 81 and Jasmine Daniel, but we saw Brandon Haynes get spun around. Looks like he's gonna be fine, but we're gonna have a restart here. It's gonna give us 50 to go on the dot. So this is gonna set up an interesting fuel window to the end potentially.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with the guys that are staying out most of the field, they're gonna have to spare around lap 107, and then for Enable and Avery Alpha, they're gonna have to pit around lap 110-ish, 10 or 113-ish. So that's gonna be interesting of how this all shakes out.
Here he comes off pit road.
And I wonder if some trucks might have ran into each other in the back with that stack up. But Ben Watson is destroyed now. He did not have that game before.
Yeah. So besides that, everybody looks to be fine. So it looks like we'll come to the restart here soon, probably. As we're probably going to restart on lap 72. But right now, if you're Vision Motorsports, you're feeling confident because, I mean, what they have? The top three in the fastest lap so far. It was Rowe and Lafluer who were the fastest in practice. So everything's starting up in their way. And you got Carson Miller, who we've talked about has had terrible luck, but now he's going to be starting second on this restart for a single file restart, so he won't have quite the advantage he wants, but this is a good opportunity for almost everybody here who's on the lead lap, which is good.
Oh no!
Oh my, Alexander Rowe!
Alexander Rowe blows up under the pace lap.
That's
and I mentioned them earlier. I almost picked them. I didn't. Well, good thing I didn't pick them. Tough with Alexander Rowe.
That's going to be 3 out of the 4 races, a DNF for Rowe. And, I mean, I've said it like weeks on weeks. I honestly think he's, outside of Ronnie Hauger, I think he's one of the best drivers. Oh, wow. David Dixon might have issues too.
More split strategy here.
And Dixon, I think, has something going on, but I think he's probably the most talented driver in the field, but it's just week in, week out, just always having issues. As we're coming to the restart here, which I don't know why these guys are. Oh, it's lap trucks on the inside. Oh boy. But it's gonna be Joseph Wood leading us to green. We'll see how this plays out here. Should be single file, but unfortunately, Nathan, we had the setting on double file, so even if you sit on single file here, they're gonna, for some reason, they're gonna go on the inside like the old NASCAR restarts we saw back in the day. But camshaft
Yeah, this
issue.
is the 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna be like a 2000s restart with all
Yeah.
the lead lap trucks on the high side
Yeah.
and many lap down trucks on the inside lane.
Which there's more lap down trucks than lead laps, so that's gonna play an interesting part into this restart here. We're gonna see how it plays out here. Here on this restart, it's gonna be that number 38 of Joseph Wood leading us back to green. Last two cautions involved that 36, which we'll see how it plays out now here on this restart. These guys are running super close on the door of each other. Hopefully nothing comes out of that, but here we go. Gonna keep going back green here. And Oliver's gonna be wide back there, but it's gonna be the 38 of Wood leading us back to green.
I think we made it. I was holding out my breath there, but I think we made it. And now this is going to be very interesting with lap down trucks on this inside lane. Gotta watch out for the 45.
The 41 already back to pit road. Oh, wow. Uh-oh, Patrick Raven. They're good, though.
They are banging doors, banging the wall, and
yeah.
Good. And that's a tough place for Abel. I like that different strategy that he decided to pull as the 40.
Oh my gosh!
His own teammate.
Gutierrez as well. These guys are just. Oh my!
Oh no! And they're looking big, and that's two of my plus. Rose and Bonnet, and this is the big one possibly.
A big one here at. Oh my gosh! These short tracks bring out the chaos, and we see it there as it's a cloud of smoke there. I mean, so many trucks.
Huge. That was 4th and 6th for both of my two trucks. And,
wow.
Miles is hungry in the second half of the Delaware Life 200.
Yeah. And I mean, that's just been every chase race so far this season, Nathan. I mean, it's just all out chaos. I mean, we've seen so many chase drivers get involved in wrecks or have mechanical issues, and once again here tonight, it's a bunch more. So now they're going
to be very, very tight on fuel.
Yeah. And Aaron Abel, I mean, I don't know what happened to him there. There's so many guys that they're going to be, I mean, he's going to be a lap down here. There's going to be a lot of guys a lap down. Aaron Abel's going to be, is he a lap down? Yeah, he's about 2 laps. We're going to be close to 2 laps down or something. I don't know what happened between those guys, but man, I mean, these have been, I mean, we had the longest green flag run possible, and then out of nowhere. So Wood's gonna come off first, second. It's gonna be Dorn, possibly. We'll see, but and Lafluer. So Hauger can spend a lot of time on his stop, but might be for the better to get those adjustments in, because we'll see who's going to have the lead here, but it's going to be, I want to say that's number 38 once again, who's running into the luckiest situation possible, because I don't even know where the 23 and the rest of them are at. They're right here, so that was the wild turn of events. We're going to do our no-cut replay, because this is another big caution here. So we'll get into this no-cut replay here, folks. You'll see our live reaction to see what happened here, but I mean, this is just unfolding in front of our eyes, and oh my, Hubert got involved. What happened here? Oh no, that's
I have no words for that one. 3 wide off turn 4.
Not gonna
That
work.
that does not, especially when they were 3 wide multiples.
And
Most
Gutierrez
recent,
did not
all
help
this
that out
happened
at
because
all.
of Gutierrez. Yeah, I don't know what happened with April and Gutierrez, and that's what kind of
And
caused
Alford,
all
all
that.
3 of the Racing Motorsports trucks. Just flat out chaos here at Dover. And you said Miles the Monster just definitely gonna be a little bit hungry. And
I think there's gonna be some tail end cars here.
yeah, we're gonna get this figured out, folks, and then get back green. We're gonna try to make this just fully single file and not have any double file, but we'll get back to you guys when we get ready for this restart. All right, folks, so here we go for the restart. Gonna be single file here. We've had quite the chaos with the lap traffic here so far, but they hopefully got it all figured out near the back here. They're still making their way through, but we should be fine. So it'll be a 38 with the lead. Last week's winner. Wood through all this chaos has made his way in, but don't look now, Nathan. That 82 Ricky Lafluer back up here, but as they make their way through the safe light restart zone, only going to be 10 trucks on the lead lap here, but we are back underway. This is going to be a tight ending here with that caution because a bunch of guys are a lap down now.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what happened with a bunch of those guys being a lap down. Obviously, the Gutierrez and they unable had that weird strategy call going back down pit lane.
I think they might have had a tire rub.
Race cars.
Yeah.
Maybe.
As we saw last week.
Damage quotes as well.
But here comes
This
Hauger.
is definitely gonna be interesting. And on top of everything, Charlie, can they make it on fuel?
Yeah. So that could be the cherry on top. Can we make it on fuel is a question. And I mean, maybe the Racing Motorsports guys all were maybe experiencing a tire rub. We saw them lose. We saw Avery Alford run really slow with the tire failure last week, but the upcoming laps before that, he definitely had a rub as he was losing time to the 38, who eventually went on to run that race. So maybe they're playing it safe this time. We'll see. But now the 38 of Woods got the lead, and he's got that 83 of Hauger right behind him.
Absolutely, and Ronnie Hauger, amidst all the chaos you'll say, he's been top 3 always long, and with an able out of
oh boy, he's moving.
Contention, this could be Ronnie Hauger's day in this 83 machine.
Oh, really
and
close.
Not quite get there, but he's gonna get the maybe off the stun too. He is so fast in this 83 machine.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, 38 gonna close him. Oh, he tries to shut the door. Can he pack ear coming off? But here comes Miller as well. Wood tries to pack ear. It's not gonna work. He's gonna possibly get past into turn number 1. Yes, he will. And here comes Carson Miller as well. Maybe Miller gets a win at his home race, but he's got to beat the other guys whose home race it is. It's 83 Hauger's as well. So this is...
You know, with how crazy this race has been, you know, maybe Carson Miller can finally have some luck on his side.
This would be a
very crazy race.
This would be a season-saving win for this 23 if it were to happen.
Absolutely, and of course it would happen with a fairly topsy-turvy race like this here today. But, you know, of course, he's been fast. He was already moving up his way up to the field all race here today. And I think if he were to win, it would be definitely earned. Because he's so 21st. He's had to chip and claw his way throughout the field here today.
Yeah.
But it's going to be close between these top 2 now, I think. And maybe even that 33 machine back there.
Yeah, that 33's been holding off that 82 pretty well. I mean, Dixon's driven his way through Easter 17th, but that's kind of the typical Dave Dixon day. He'll make the most out of it, but everybody else has so much damage from those wrecks that they're just all falling off, which Carson Miller, he's probably going to want to have that lap traffic in the way if it's on his side, of course, but lap traffic's tricky. If it's on his side, he could have good runs. This 33 is really fighting hard, but that 82 is going to get through here. So if they run some lap traffic here, he's going to want it to be on his side, and they're going to run into some lap traffic here soon. It's going to be the 98 of Kayla Rose. So I have a pop up there, but it's going to be the 98 to 42 of all running really slow, which I mean, it's just been non-stop issues for teams here to start out this chase. One race, you're going to be running top 5, and the next race, you're having the most amount of issues possible. I mean, it's just unpredictable.
And to think for most of those guys, like Alfred, like Abel, Rose, Burnett, they were running top 10, top 15, what, 30 laps ago?
Yeah.
And now they're in the back, and I'm surprised that Caleb is still on the racetrack after hitting the pit wall, regardless. So that's going to be interesting. We still have 30 laps to go. Hauger is pulling away from Carson Miller, and I still don't know about fuel. But I did some calculations. It's 43, 44 laps on fuel, and if they can make it, it would be like 119, 120. So
yeah,
if they can't make it, or either they can make it by 1 lap, or they're gonna be 1 lap short. So it's gonna be very, very tight.
Yeah, and fortunately for guys like Hubert and Dorn, they're kind of stuck here because they're lap down and they're kind of running in their regular spot right behind. But some great runs for some guys. Benson Pragi are running really well. But I mean, kind of the orders, even though people are lapped down, the order's kind of how the pace is currently. But here we go, this lap traffic. This is where Carson Miller can pounce on the opportunity. Nathan, dating back to Watkins Glen and Carson Miller's first start of his career here in the Gainbridg Truck Series, he had a fuel mileage race where Joseph Wood in that 38 almost ultimately won. But this 23 Carson Miller saved all the way up until like 2 laps ago where he finally ran out. But he outstretched the window by a lot. If we do have that fuel situation, it's going to depend on who can save more. And if I'm betting here, I think I got that 23 Carson Miller.
Absolutely. And, I'm saying that it's going to be close on fuel, but who knows? Maybe on fuel they're good, and it's just they had to pit because of tires. Maybe they could have stretched it longer than fuel. We don't really know.
Hopefully,
But that's another wrinkle, and hopefully that is the case where, they can make on fuel and the tires just get so worn down that they have to pit early, and then they can just make on fuel. But I don't want any more shenanigans. I want this to play out with the top 3, top 4.
Yeah. Fortunately, we don't have Steve Letarte in the booth to give us an accurate fuel calculation, so we might look like Fox Sports here if they do make it fully to the end with no issues. But I mean, right now these guys are all coming under a blanket here with the more lap traffic. These guys are all keeping up quite well, so this is going to be a really interesting run here to the end, because I mean, this 60 of Terry Pool's even keeping up, as well as the 9 David Dixon. Nathan, David Dixon's 2 wins last season at Richmond and IRP all involved some type of strategy or some type of shenanigans. If there's a guy, I've said it all season, if there's a guy to win a chaotic race, it's this number 9 of Dixon. So anything can really happen. And of course, he was your teammate last season at Tricon Garage.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised if David Dixon won. They chaotic strategy for the race. He's been pretty good in the landscape the last year or two. I'm an underrated driver.
Yeah.
There's quite a few underrated drivers here in the series.
Oh, Miller's gaining some time here.
And Carson Miller is definitely closing in. And you were talking about the Vision trucks, they are the fastest 3 lap times. So maybe, just maybe, Carson Miller can go 21st to first here today.
Yeah, that 20 slots gain. And I mean, we talk about slots gain. You talk about David Dixon being one of the more underrated drivers. I think he's the most underrated driver in the series. Despite the lack of equipment Gale Force has had this season, he's going to be a free agent at season's end. But if we look in the history books, I haven't calculated just yet. I promised it in the season. But if we go to positions gained and the history of in our Truck Night America, this number 9 of Dixon, I think, has at least 50 or 100 on the rest of the field when it comes to positions gained with the runs he's had, because he just constantly drives his way through. And now you got his teammate Adrian Gale, who's another solid driver, but Carson Miller really getting close to this 83 of Hauger and making him uncomfortable here with just under 20 to go.
19 laps to go. We'll go by really, really fast here at Dover. It's about 2.5, 3 laps per minute. So it's going to fly on by. Hauger trying to get past 96 here. 23
Miller,
get a
wow.
huge one off the turn 4.
Oh boy.
Huge one. Can he send it in turn 1? He's going to try to.
Not
but
quite.
I think it's just a matter of time until
Oh, he's going to.
the way to lead.
Yeah. I'll say you can't do what he did at the start of the last lap, because I don't know if you saw, he took a really awkward line, lost some time. That 96 was able to help him generate that run again. But now Hauger's trying to pull away once again. So these guys are just like a push and pull machine. They're closing back in and then once again distancing each other, and they're going to see that 11 here soon, as well as the 81, and these two are battling with no hoods on their engines, and that just tells me that when these guys reach them, it's going to be something to see, because these are going to be two very slow trucks.
Absolutely. And we've always seen some slow trucks here today. Unfortunately, Caleb Rose was one of them, but he's a battle on it in the community. He did a good job maintaining his position and not getting in the way of the leaders. So we gotta see of how those 2 or 3 trucks maintain. But
Yeah.
I honestly think outside of lap traffic, Carson Miller I think is faster than Ronnie Hauger right now.
I think so as well. He's just got to stick to his line. I think he's trying a little bit some stuff on some laps. It's not really helping him out too much. Some laps, you'll see him lose some time taking a different line than he usually does. But yeah, they're going to come up on these guys here soon. That's going to make this even tighter. And, you know, they're pushing their limits right now. And there is a thing in the I&I and whatnot, not to break the fourth wall, but if you're more aggressive than most guys, your stuff will burn up more quickly. So as we move through this, you don't want to be over aggressive and use up your stuff. But if you're a guy like Miller, you're hoping that A3 of Ronnie Hauger's using all that he can right now to make it a more tougher run to the end, because we don't know about fuel right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And knock on wood, you know, these guys are making enough fuel and tires, and it's going to be fairly interesting. But, you know, if we do get a caution, that will solve all of our fuel questions and concerns. But I don't want
I don't think I want that at this stage. And
yeah, I don't think so either. But this is a great battle. I don't want to caution because of this battle.
Yeah.
And how good.
And this is, I mean, this is even a funner battle, because I don't know, Nathan, if you're pulling into the racetrack here today, but there's a lot of 83 and 23 fans in the stands. These two are from just around the corner. One resides in Delaware, one's from Vermont, and he's got the sponsor, the home race sponsor. This is two perfect guys to be battling for the end of this one, as they're both got all the fans on their side here.
And of course, I just now realized now on lap 110, you know, if Carson Miller wins from 21st to 1st, that is the Delaware Life Toyota.
Yes.
Out and that would be a win in the Delaware Life 200 in Dover at in Delaware. So
yes,
it would be huge for that 23 team. Would be a lot of Delaware in victory lane. But here we go, lap 12 again, and Hauger's gonna get to the side of the 81.
But here we go. This is where it's going to be interesting. He's hoping his Ram teammate of that number 11 holds up this 81, which Pato is. So maybe some communications there. We're not going to. We don't want to listen to the radios. Who knows? Hendrick and JGR stuff that we saw at Martinsville a couple years ago, but definitely got two agents here with that Ford. Those two Fords and Rams here, and the Ram here. But they were going to be super close. Less than 10 to go. Does Miller have what it takes? Hauger going to get a great run there. He is really good when he pins it to that inside. That when he runs really low, that 83 gets a great run off the corner.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what makes Ronnie Hauger so good right now, is that even under pressure from, well, I think the clearly faster 23 late in the stage, he's still winning consistent laps and still winning the white lane, and that's gonna make it so hard for Carson to get by. He's maintaining.
Oh, what a run here!
Oh, that's perfect though. Perfect 1, 2, 3, and 4. He's got a couple more times, 6 laps to go for Carson Miller.
Now coming up on that 98 again of Caleb Rose. Rose last time easily moved out the way, but we'll see how it plays out this time. As Miller's going to be the... Oh, Miller, you can't do that.
Oh.
And yeah, that's not a great line for him. But yeah, all these guys battling up here though. Less than going to be 5 to go now in this race. What does Miller have left?
Black traffic machines we saw it earlier played a huge factor, and it's playing a huge factor once again. I still think Carson Miller is faster, but he has to maintain that gap again. And
He's
right
going to
now,
need those two to run side by side up there like that 42's doing right now.
Oh yeah. Hauger needs to get held up for Carson Miller because he is losing time in that 23 machine. And they're all gonna go side by side.
This could spell trouble here. Oh, it's gonna last just a little bit.
A bad spot for
Oh
Hauger
no!
to catch up to him.
Oh, here comes.
That's a
Oh,
bad
he forces
spot.
the issue though.
Only 3 laps to go. About a minute left in this race.
Oh, what is the 01 doing? That's gonna be the race ender.
Side by side. Yeah, that might end it for the race win here.
Lexi Herman, what are you doing there? And she just screwed over her Ram teammate as that 83 is going to coast to the sunset here with just 2 to go unless this 23 figures something out. But that 01 has parked the bus in front of their teammate here. They're, oh my gosh, what are they doing? Coming to 1 to go.
Oh my goodness, well, it's going to be...
Oh, some can't make it though.
I knew it's going to be close. Some cannot make it, but the top 2 look to be good. And what a day it's been for Ronnie Hauger. He was top 3 all day, Charlie. And it looks like he's going to get lucky, and he's going to get this one.
Yeah, Ronnie Hauger coming out of turns 3 and 4 here at his home track here in Dover, Delaware. Ronnie Hauger's going to win the Delaware Life 200.
His 5th win on the season, and...
I mean, I just gotta ask, what is the 01 doing there? That is just idiotic. I mean, they just took, idiotic and ignorant at that, and they just completely took Ram out of this race. And there's gonna be a lot left to desire if you're that 23 Miller. A great one for Hauger. I think he had the fastest truck overall during the whole race, but in terms of the final couple of laps, I don't think the final run, I'm not sure, but I mean, Miller, that's gonna leave a bad taste in his mouth. I mean, I think Vision Motorsports as a whole so far this season, that's been a lot of moments so far this season where they've had opportunities to get race wins, and it's been a Ram truck that's not their own team that has held them up. And there might be some meetings on Monday when it comes to Ram overall, when it comes to how they're conducting any of these races, because that marks like the 3rd time we've seen a whole different Ram team not help their guys out.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate for Vision Motorsports, and I know, Matthew Huber, he is a really good owner. He has a lot of good speed with those trucks week in, week out. We saw here today, they were top 3 on the fastest lap trucks here today. So it would have been interesting if Carson Miller got there. He almost got there, but I think throughout the entire race, Ronnie Hauger was the, I think, most consistent driver. Of course, Anable was the fastest, I think, but he had issues. But, very chaotic race here. I don't know what happened on the final lap.
Yeah, a bunch ran out of fuel. And this is going to be interesting.
A chaotic race here at Dover, but, it was a fun one. The first 60 or so laps were clean. And then the last 35, 40 laps were also good, but it was those 20 to 30 laps in the middle that were chaotic, but
yeah,
that was a fun race here at Dover, for the most part.
Yeah, if you look at your race results here, folks, just a wild turn of events here at Dover, and this is, folks are gonna be happy this 83 won, because Ricky Lafluer, once again, stays out of trouble, finishes 3rd here. This lead's going to increase quite a bit, and it's going to be, it might be a 2-horse race unless Ricky Lafluer runs into some, we can't rule him out too early, because we saw this at the beginning of the chase last season where our eventual champion, Peter Onjak, the 71 Atlanta Laudaback was just lucky. It came all the way down to Phoenix, before Phoenix, about 2 races before Phoenix, where he was just super lucky and had a good lead. But then, as we got close to the championship race, somebody closed in. So we're gonna see. But this is rough for some of these guys, and not being able to make it on fuel at the end. And we know some guys are pushing their limits, especially if you're Wood, because you would want to finish better. But when we look at contenders, Hauger's gonna be up there. Miller, he's last in the chase currently, so this is gonna help him out, but not as much as a win would. And it's gonna be quite the tricky spot here for some guys because if you're Aaron Abel, you retired from this race. You're gonna finish 20th, which is not bad. So he's gonna get about half points, but it's gonna Ricky Lafleur. I mean, he's gonna need a nightmare next couple of weeks if this one's gonna want to be close again. And this is just how the short tracks are. They bring that chaos, and we see it happen here at Dover, Nathan. And for some guys, they're gonna be a little ticked off, especially that 23 Miller with the 0-1 and the shenanigans we saw there. But that's a bunch of chase contenders falling back here. Rowe, 3 out of 4 races. I mean, I think that's the end of it for him when it comes to chase. Unfortunately, one of the best drivers we've seen so far this season, but just a lot left to be desired for that 17. I mean, for that 7 team. They have some of the best. They have some of the best statistics in the field, but yeah, it's gonna be rough. And then Caleb Rose, he did not need this, especially with the 82 right now. The 98, the 42, the 43, all very tough spots for them. So thank you for joining me in the booth for this one, Nathan. But this is gonna be an interesting turnaround as we go into the next couple races. Where next race we have is a Firecracker 400 at Kentucky Speedway, which we saw last season be a very entertaining race. So that might be where we see stuff. We might see possibly the tides turn, but it's going to take a lot to take down this number 82 team right now.
Absolutely. I think I don't know there's much you can do to stop this 20 this 83 this 82 team. Um there's not much you can really do, and there's not much you can do to beat these Rebel machines. Fifth win for Ronnie out of the Ricky. Ricky obviously has 4. And it's been those two dominating this season, and it's impressive. But today's a what if though. What if Aaron April won? What if Costa won? I think maybe some of my guys, if they had some speed in the middle point of this race. There's a lot of what ifs here today, I think, Charlie, but those are just what ifs. Those are not the facts, and the facts is that Ronnie Hauger gets win number 5 on the season, and Ricky Lafluer is still continuing his amazing streak. Second, 6th, and 3rd to start off the chase.
Yeah, and it's gonna be hard to stop the CD2 right now, but I mean, you got to show up when it matters. And when you're racing motorsports, this is not what they needed. And I mean, if your teams, I mean, I think it's about time to start. You have a fast truck. I mean, we've seen that. Honestly, not to phrase a football movie, but it's any given Sunday at this point. There's a lot of fast trucks. I don't think maybe taking a week or two and just investing in that reliability side of the garage would hurt any of these trucks here, because it's gonna be cheap. It's gonna be cheap to afford too, because there's not a lot of guys with high reliability, and we've seen that anybody can really run up here these past couple weeks, especially start off the chase. The field's been getting closer and closer every week, and when it comes to moments like this where we see nonstop mechanical failures and whatnot these past couple weeks, I think it doesn't hurt possibly to invest a race or two and just getting that mechanical side, just talking with your engineers and whatnot to figure out the other logistics besides the truck itself.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's definitely going to be interesting of how the rest of the season goes, because I do think some of these teams are closing in on the dominance of the Red Bull Fallout racing. Obviously, Vision is really fast.
Yeah.
And then Racing Motorsport still was really fast. And you got a couple of other sneaky teams up here. Like the 38 machine of Haynes Racing. They're pretty fast with Joseph Wood, obviously. The DMS Racing was pretty competitive for the most part.
Yeah, I
as
mean,
well. So I mean,
it's been
I
close.
do think there are other teams that are closing in to Red Bull Fallout, but it might be too little too late.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I mean, we've seen the hierarchy a little bit change here in the chase. I would say Red Bull Fallout's 1 right now, but I mean, Vision and Red Bull and Vision and Racing Motorsports are almost even, and you could obviously argue your team's been even faster than both of them when it comes to all around performance, because we've seen all three of your trucks be very fast, and then just overall guys like just seen guys like Caleb Rose just do really good, but not how the results show. So I think this is the point. Honestly, I have a gut feeling that here at Dover, when we get into this final stretch, this is where the races mellow down. There's not many newer tracks or short tracks in things. We know short tracks being the chaos, but as we get into the rest of the schedule here for the chase, we have Kentucky, Kansas, Road America, North Wilkesboro, Phoenix, and Homestead, Miami. The only race that stands out to me there that's going to be one of those races where we could see something pop off is North Wilkesboro. We saw Phoenix be a great race last season where we saw Peter Honjak make that last lap pass, and we already know that when it comes to green flag racing, it's better than what we saw last season. And none of these tracks on this list are tracks where I think we're going to see um, opportunities for guys to really take each other out like we saw here at Dover. So I think as we get into this later run or these final six or so races, yeah, 6 races in this chase. I think this is the point here, Nathan, where it's going to be a little bit of a calm stretch to the end, where this is where guys are going to really have to hit their marks and hope something happens to the 82, but I think this is where everybody has to really lock in, see where they're at right now, and just try their best.
Absolutely. I think some what's the season? It's a lot of normal racetracks that you expect to be normal, like Kentucky, Kansas, Road
Cookie cutters.
America. Yeah, cookie cutter. But those are great on their own. So
Yeah,
like Kentucky, Kansas, Homestead, and then you got a couple of interesting short tracks like Northwest Borough, Phoenix. Road America's normally normal. So
yeah.
I
And
I think a lot of these tracks are gonna be fairly normal. So it's gonna be tough to beat that 83, but I think there's teams that can do it.
yeah,
So
I
we
think
just
so
gotta
too.
see how it all works out.
Yeah, I was gonna say these are normal tracks, but normal does not mean there's not gonna be good racing. There's gonna be great racing. It's gonna be more green flag, probably more passing. Like Kentucky, I think it's either Kentucky or Kansas last season. We saw just be back and forth. I think we'll see that once again. But yeah, overall, gonna be interesting. And Firecracker 400, which is gonna be next Friday, I think, it's on July 3rd. So, the fireworks gonna be going off, no pun intended, at that race. There's gonna be a lot of guys. Might try to roll out some patriotic schemes, but I think that's going to be all here from In Our Truck Night in America, folks. Here, a little bit of a longer post-race debrief, but there's a lot to go over in this race, and you got insight from another owner to see what the thoughts of some guys are, heading into other races. So I wanted to give you viewers some of that. But thank you, Nathan, for joining me in the booth. And we'll see how the Firecracker 400 goes next week at Kentucky, folks. But that is all from In Our Truck Night in America live here at Dover International Raceway. Quite a crazy one, but we'll see how the rest of these ones play out.